Hey everyone, it's Scott Wellington. I wanted to make another video before I chickened out, to be honest. Where I left off, I was living in Granada Hills in Southern California, and I liked it there. It was really nice. I lived about a half hour from the beach, inland from the beach, and about 45 minutes from Disneyland, north of Disneyland. So I was pretty happy and treated pretty well. One thing I really enjoyed was when we'd get visitors one summer. Every time I would go to Disneyland and go to Universal Studios, and I went 17 times to each of those places in one summer. That was quite fun, quite entertaining. Where I lived, there were a lot of people in the quote unquote industry, actors, actresses, directors, writers, and such. I grew up with all those people, and some were nice and some were not so nice, and that's just the way humanity is. I've been halfway around the world now, and some people are really nice, some people are not. So there's not much difference. They're just actors for a living or in the industry for a living. And like I said, I liked living there. There was a show back in the day. Well, I'm an old man anyway. There was a show called Baba Black Sheep, and it was filmed in just north of where I went to school on the other side of the mountain range. And the reason they filmed there is the Baba Black Sheep is based on World War II veterans that flew Corsair airplanes against the Japanese Zeros in the Pacific. And they could do a lot of the filming in that area. And they used to take and fly the planes up, and they would fly up the mountains and then turn around and fly back down to fly across the desert to film. And I used to see them every day when I was a kid, and I loved that. That was cool to see Japanese Zeros flying and Corsairs flying. I was very fortunate. I got to see a lot of airplanes flying because there's a little company called Skunk Works that has done a lot of exploration planes, and I've seen a lot of them in the airs flying because I wasn't very far from the Van Nuys Airport where Skunk Works was. And they used to also make parts of the Saturn rockets and fly them in an airplane called the Super Guppy, and it would fly right over our playground, and I would see it at lunchtime. And I would recommend doing a Google and look up Super Guppy, and it looks like a very strange plane. It looks like a plane that's pregnant, to be honest. But anyway, so I had a good childhood. I remember one day I was flipping through the channels and I happened to watch a show called Lords of Dogtown. And I wasn't a very good skater. As a matter of fact, I was a horrible skater. But I skated with some of those guys that were in that movie. And they were the reason I stopped is they were filming it. This part where they were walking down these alleys and they were looking over the fences at pools to see if the pool was empty so they could skate in it. And that's what I used to do when I was a kid. And we didn't have skate parks and all that stuff. We would find people that had empty pools and jump their fence and skate around in their pool. So yeah, I was flipping the channels and saw a little bit of that and kept flipping and then flipped back and went, wait, that looks like Granada Hills. And so I watched that, and a lot of the people that movie is about, the movie again is called Lords of Dogtown, and they're guys that I used to skate with. And like I said, I'm not saying I was a good skater. I was a horrible skater, but I used to hang out with some guys that were pretty talented. But the reason I tell you all this stuff, I'm sure it's very mundane and boring, but even at a young age, you can choose to be positive or you can choose to be negative. And it's a choice you make every day. You choose to be positive or you choose to be negative. And it seems like negativity is so easy and so loud, especially right now with all this pandemic and virus and everything. Everyone wants to panic and run around, and you have a choice. No matter what happens, you have a choice to be positive. So I'm going to say the same thing. Be positive, be a leader, and be optimistic. Make that choice every day. Thanks. Have a good day.